Welcome to Sleepy Chronicles. Before we begin our journey into the past, I want you to take a moment to find your most comfortable position. Adjust your pillows, pull your blanket up to your chin, and let the weight of your body sink deeply into your bed. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out. Tonight, we are starting a 5-part series following the long, dusty journey of a young drover on the Chisholm Trail in 1875. We will experience the quiet monotony, the rhythmic sounds of the trail, and the vast stillness of the American prairie. If you find these stories helpful for your rest, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It truly helps our community grow. Now, close your eyes and let the world of today fade away. Part 1. The first light of the Chisholm. The world begins not with a sound, but with a feeling. It is the feeling of the 4:00 a.m. air. A sharp, biting chill that seeps through your wool blanket and reminds you that you are sleeping on the skin of the earth. You are lying in a shallow depression in the North Texas grass, your bedroll spread over the hard-packed soil. Your muscles are stiff, a lingering gift from the 12 hours you spent in the saddle yesterday, and your joints creak like old floorboards as you finally sit up. Overhead, the stars are still brilliant, scattered like salt across a black velvet sky. But in the east, a thin, bruised line of purple and gray suggests that the sun is considering its arrival. You reach for your boots. This is a slow, deliberate ritual. You pick up the left one and shake it firmly, listening for the telltale skitter of a scorpion or a spider seeking warmth. Finding none, you slide your foot into the cold leather. The high heel catches the ground and you pull. Thump, then the right one. Thump, you stand, feeling the blood slowly returning to your legs. Your Stetson hat, heavy and familiar, finds its place on your head, and you tie your bandana loosely around your neck. It is clean now, but in 3 hours, it will be caked with the fine gray powder of 10,000 hooves. The scent of wood smoke draws you toward the center of the camp. Cookie, the camp cook, is a silhouette against the orange glow of the fire. He is a man of few words and many grievances, but the sound of his heavy iron spoon clinking against a pot is the heartbeat of the outfit. He hands you a tin cup of coffee. It is black, bitter, and hot enough to scald your throat. But as the liquid warms your chest, the last remnants of sleep finally vanish. You stand by the fire in silence, joined by the other 15 men. No one speaks. At this hour, words are a luxury no one wants to spend. You simply watch the steam rise from your cup, blending into the morning mist. Beyond the circle of firelight, the herd is beginning to stir. 2,500 Texas longhorns are a living, breathing ocean of shadow. You can hear them before you see them, the low, guttural grumbles, the clicking of massive horns as they shift, and the occasional heavy sigh of a beast rising to its feet. They represent a fortune in northern markets, but here they are simply a burden of constant vigilance. You finish your coffee, toss the dregs into the dust, and walk toward the remuda to find your horse. Your mount for the morning is a steady bay gelding with a calm eye. You feel the texture of his coat, slightly damp with dew, as you throw the saddle blanket over his back. The leather of the saddle is cool and stiff, protesting as you tighten the cinch. Your movements are rhythmic and hypnotic, looping the leather, pulling it taut, checking the stirrups. Once you swing up, the world changes. From the saddle, the horizon feels endless, a vast sea of grass that stretches into the unknown. The trail boss raises a hand, a silent signal that ripples through the camp. The point riders move to the front. The swing and flank riders take their stations along the sides, and the drag riders prepare for the unenviable task of breathing the dust at the rear. You are riding flank today. As the first golden sliver of the sun breaks the horizon, the herd begins to move. It is a slow, ponderous transition. One steer moves, then 10, then 100. The sound is like a distant landslide, a rhythmic, muffled drumming of hooves against the prairie sod. The heat has not yet arrived, but you know it is coming. For now, there is only the creak of your saddle leather, the steady swaying of your horse's shoulders, and the immense, quiet beauty of the waking wild. You pull your bandana up over your nose, settle into the rhythm of the walk, and begin the long, slow trek north. The journey has truly begun, and the trail is the only home you will know for a long, long time. As the morning progresses, the gentle purple hues of dawn are long gone, replaced by a flat, punishing yellow glare that seems to bleach the very color out of the prairie. You are no longer riding through a fresh landscape. You are riding through a wall of heat. By midday, it feels as if you are moving inside a giant, shimmering oven. The air above the tall grass vibrates with a heat haze, and the only constant is the rhythmic, heavy thud of 10,000 hooves hitting the dry earth. With that movement comes the dust, the cowboy's shadow. It rises in a thick, choking cloud that hangs over the herd like a storm that never breaks. You pull your bandana higher over your nose and mouth, but but it is a futile defense. By now, you are tasting the trail with every swallow. Your skin is coated in a fine layer of grit that works its way into the creases of your eyes and the folds of your neck, making every movement of your head feel like sandpaper against your skin. Your eyes are red and irritated, constantly watering in a desperate, failed attempt to clear the silt. The sweat soaks your heavy cotton shirt, but the hot wind dries it almost instantly, leaving behind white salt streaks on the fabric. Thirst becomes a dull, persistent ache in the back of your throat. You reach for the canteen at your side, but you only allow yourself a tiny sip, just enough to wet your cracked lips and move the dust around in your mouth. Out here, water is more than a drink. It is your life insurance, and you must make it last until the sun touches the horizon. The monotony is suddenly broken by a flash of movement on the edge of your vision. A lean yearling, barely more than a year old and full of stubborn energy, decides it has had enough of the herd's slow pace. It darts through a gap in the line, heading for the open range. Without a conscious thought, you signal your horse. You don't need to pull the reins. A slight shift of your weight and a press of your heels are all it takes. Your gelding responds instantly, his steady plod transforming into a powerful, rhythmic gallop. This is the moment where the exhaustion fades, replaced by the thrill of the chase. It is a dance between you, the horse, and the steer. You close the distance quickly, the wind whipping past your face and momentarily clearing the dust from your lungs. You reach for your lariat, the braided rope feeling familiar and heavy in your calloused hand. With a practiced swing, the loop sails through the shimmering air and settles perfectly around the yearling's neck. Your horse knows exactly what to do. He braces his weight as you dally the rope, turning the stubborn animal back toward the mass of the herd. Once the yearling is back in line, you coil your rope and settle back into the slow, swaying rhythm of the flank. Your muscles ache from the sudden exertion, adding a new layer of fatigue to your already protesting body. The afternoon stretches endlessly before you, a monotonous cycle of watching and riding. The trail boss keeps a steady pace, aiming to cover 15 miles before the light fails. Too fast, and the cattle lose weight and value too slow, and you risk running out of water or being caught by a sudden prairie storm. As the sun finally begins its long descent toward the western horizon, painting the sky in bruised oranges and deep reds, you find yourself counting the minutes until the command to make camp is given. You are bone tired. Your back is a map of dull pain. and your legs feel as though they have been shaped permanently to the curve of the saddle. But as you look back at the massive line of longhorns moving steadily forward, there is a quiet, grim satisfaction. Another day's work is almost done. As the sun finally touches the western horizon, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and deep reds, the trail boss signals for the herd to be turned toward a suitable bed ground for the night. It is a gentle depression in the land, with a small stream winding along one edge, providing both the water the thirsty animals crave and a natural containment to keep the longhorns together. You dismount with a heavy groan, your legs nearly buckling as they take your weight for the first time in 14 hours. The ground feels strangely solid and unyielding beneath your feet. And as you walk, you move with that slightly bow-legged gait that has become a permanent part of your identity after years in the saddle. Before you can even think of your own hunger or the deep ache in your back, you attend to your horse. No matter how tired you are, your mount always comes first, for out here, a lame horse can mean death. You remove the heavy leather saddle and bridle, checking his back and legs for any swelling or sores that might have developed during the day's long, dusty miles. Finding him sound, you brush him down with handfuls of dry prairie grass, removing the sweat and grit from his coat while he drinks deeply from the cool creek. Only when he is watered, fed, and secured for the night do you turn toward the chuck wagon, where the rich aroma of wood smoke and coffee is pulling at your senses like a magnet. Cookie has worked a small miracle tonight, his weathered face impassive as he hands out the evening's rations. Instead of the usual dry beans and bacon, there is a thick stew containing actual chunks of beef and salt pork, accompanied by biscuits that are perfect for soaking up the savory gravy. You accept a metal plate with a tired nod, the warmth of the food radiating through the tin into your cold, calloused hands. You find a spot on the cooling earth and eat slowly, savoring each bite while the camp settles into a weary, focused silence. The conversation is minimal. Everyone is too exhausted for words, and tomorrow will bring more of the same. As darkness falls completely, the atmosphere of the camp shifts from the frantic energy of the drive to a quiet, watchful stillness. Every man must take his turn standing guard over the herd, alert for predators, rustlers, or the sudden lightning that can spook 2,000 half-wild animals into a deadly stampede. Tonight, the trail boss assigns you to the second watch, which means you have a few precious hours of sleep before being woken around midnight. You spread your bedroll on a relatively flat piece of ground, not even bothering to remove your clothes. Only your boots come off, set carefully beside you where they can be pulled on quickly if needed, and your revolver is tucked securely under your folded jacket, which serves as your pillow. You lie back and look up at a canopy of stars so bright and numerous they seem close enough to touch, scattered across the sky like diamond dust on black velvet. The night air is cooling rapidly, a blessed relief after the shimmering heat of the day. In the distance, you can hear the low, rhythmic hum of the 4 riders on the first watch as they circle the perimeter of the massed cattle. They are singing or humming softly, a tuneless, steady sound meant to let the longhorns know where the riders are, and to prevent any startled reactions in the darkness. The melody of a familiar cowboy ballad floats across the grass. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie, the words low and mournful. It is a sound that defines this life, a mixture of profound loneliness and absolute freedom. From the dark mass of the herd, you hear the collective rhythm of soft snorts, sighs, and the occasional clicking of massive horns. This is the moment when the hardships of a cowboy's life seem worth it, the aches in your muscles, and the grit in your eyes fading into the background of this vast, open frontier as your eyelids grow heavy and exhaustion finally claims you. You realize there is a certain peace here that can't be found in any crowded city back east. For now, there is only the solid earth beneath you, the blanket of stars above, and the blessed oblivion of rest. The transition from the peaceful, starry vigil to the brutal reality of the trail happens in an instant. A rough hand shakes your shoulder, pulling you from a dream of green Missouri valleys back into the cold, gray dampness of the pre-dawn. As you sit up, you notice a change in the air, a heavy, humid stillness that makes the hair on your arms stand up. The sky is overcast, and the trail boss is already pacing near the fire, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "River crossing today," he announces, his voice cutting through the morning mist like a rusted blade. A collective groan ripples through the men. River crossings are the moments where the trail takes its toll in both cattle and souls. By mid-morning, the landscape begins to change, the flat prairie giving way to thick stands of cottonwood and willow that signal the approaching water. You can smell it before you see it, the scent of wet mud, rotting vegetation, and the raw power of moving water. When the river finally comes into view, it isn't the peaceful ribbon of blue you hoped for. The scouts report it's running high. A broad expanse of churning brown silt that hides its depth beneath a deceptive, swirling surface. The trail boss assigns you to the left point. It's a position of immense trust and even greater danger. You will be among the first to enter the water, setting the path for 2,000 nervous, half-wild longhorns to follow. You check your gear with mechanical precision, tightening the cinch one last time, ensuring your lariat is loose but secure, and checking the weight of your revolver. A failure of equipment in the middle of a current is a death sentence. As you urge your gelding toward the bank, the cattle behind you begin to low with a nervous, high-pitched frequency. Your horse hesitates at the muddy edge, his ears pinned back as he sniffs the rushing water. "Easy, boy," you murmur, your voice barely audible over the roar of the river. You press your heels in, and he plunges. The initial shock of the cold water hits your knees, then your waist, soaking through your canvas pants instantly. Suddenly, the solid earth vanishes. Your horse is swimming now, his powerful shoulders working rhythmically beneath you as he fights the lateral push of the current. You stay centered, your fates tied together in the murky flow. In the middle of the river, the power of the water is terrifying. It tugs at your legs, trying to pull you from the saddle. Behind you, the herd has become a floating forest of horns, hundreds of beasts struggling and bellowing in the chaos. Minutes feel like hours. Your muscles scream with the effort of keeping the horse headed toward the exit point, a gentle gravel slope on the far bank. Just as you feel your strength flagging, your horse's hooves scrape the bottom. With a final, desperate lunge, he breaks free of the current and scrambles onto solid ground, water streaming from his flanks in silver sheets. You dismount, your boots squelching with every step, and turn to watch the rest of the outfit. It is controlled madness. Cowboys dart in and out of the water, rescuing strays and shouting over the din. When the last steer finally climbs the bank and the trail boss emerges, dripping and silent, a heavy weight lifts from the group. You've lost 3 head to the current, but the men are whole. As you stand there, shivering in your wet clothes, you feel a quiet, grim satisfaction. You held the point. You crossed the red. 2 weeks have passed since the churning waters of the Red River. The journey has become a blur of dust, heat, and the rhythmic, swaying motion of the saddle. But today, the air carries a different charge. There is a straightening of tired shoulders and a quicker pace to the morning preparations, because Abilene lies just over the horizon. By midday, you see it, the distant, dark plumes of smoke from coal-burning locomotives at the railhead. For a man who has heard nothing but wind and cattle for months. The sudden sensory input of civilization is overwhelming. You hear the distant, lonely whistle of a train and smell the complex scent of coal smoke and humanity. The final approach to the stockyards requires your absolute focus. The cattle, sensing the unfamiliar noise of wagons and steam whistles, grow skittish. You and the other point riders guide them with firm, practiced hands, funneled by years of experience and the unspoken coordination of the outfit. With a final, dusty push, the lead steers enter the massive holding pens. As the last gate swings shut, a palpable sense of accomplishment washes over you. Your responsibility, which began in the pre-dawn darkness of Texas weeks ago, ended the moment that last steer crossed the threshold. The trail boss meets you outside the driver's bank, his usual gruffness softened by the successful delivery. When your name is called, you step forward to receive your wages. $35 for the month's work, plus a $5 bonus for your steady hand at the river crossing. The coins feel heavy and real in your pocket, a tangible reward for every ache and every sleepless night. Your first priority is a ritual every trail-worn cowboy craves. You pay your 25 cents at the bathhouse and sink into a tub of steaming hot water, feeling layers of grit and trail grime finally dissolve away. The heat eases muscles that had forgotten the meaning of relaxation. Afterward, a barber trims your shaggy beard and hair, and you emerge looking like a different man, civilized, presentable, and clean for the first time in memory. You treat yourself to a cattleman's special at the Prairie Rose, a thick beef steak, potatoes with butter, and a slice of apple pie. After weeks of hardtack and beans, the flavors are almost too much to process. That night, you secure a room at the Westerner Hotel. The room is small, but it holds a miracle, a real bed with clean sheets. You extinguish the lamp and lie in the darkness, listening to the muffled sounds of the town, the distant piano music from a saloon, and the occasional rumble of a wagon. It is a stark contrast to the vast, silent prairie. You realize that you are a part of a passing history. The railroads, the fences, and the telegraph wires are slowly closing the open range, and the era of the great cattle drives has only a few years remaining. But you have lived it. You have ridden through the dawn light with 2,000 longhorns and shared the brotherhood of the trail now. As the story of the trail comes to its end, I want you to let go of the day. The journey is over, the work is done, and the horses are settled. Feel the weight of your own bed beneath you, just as that cowboy felt the softness of his first real mattress in Abilene, close your eyes slowly. Let your breathing deepen. Imagine the vast, quiet prairie under a canopy of stars, where the only sound is the gentle rustle of the wind through the grass. You are safe. You are warm. You are at peace. If you enjoyed this journey through the Sleepy Chronicles, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to our channel for more stories to guide your rest. Your support helps us keep the campfire burning. Good night and sweet dreams.